Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Before starting the video, I have one small question for you. Do you remember the times when your parents or grandparents used to tell you stories and you used to quickly fall asleep? At least I would, surely. Fast forward 20 years. How have these stories evolved with time? In this video, I will tell you about how these stories have evolved as podcasts. And the major difference that you would notice is that those old stories put you to sleep and these stories awake you from your sleep. Stay tuned, we'll begin right now. So the first question that comes into our mind naturally is, what is a podcast? A podcast is a type of conversation between two people in which they indulge in between topics of education, finance, environment, and entertainment and all this that you can imagine. So it is just a conversation in which one person takes the interview while the other person from his life experiences or from the educational experiences share his point of views to the audience. Another question that might arise is, why should I even bother to hear a podcast? I have so many of things. I can watch Netflix, I can watch a web series, and in fact PUBG is also now back, so I can go and start playing the video games. But just for one moment, try to listen to my thoughts. You see that the technology can be either constructive or destructive in many ways. Spending a lot of time on the video games or staring at your screen, scrolling up and down the Instagram feed and Facebook feed can have some detrimental effects on your health. And the fact that most of us are at homes right now enjoying the quarantine period alone with our families, it can lead to a little bit of problems. So this is something new that I would like to share, and if you haven't, you must try this. Are you one of those people who like to take a backpack and just go on an adventure? Of course, before the COVID times. Or are you that kind of person who used to study all the day and delve into the physics, science, biology? Or you are that kind of person that likes to bring his adrenaline rush up by hearing some motivational or horror stories? Well, there is a good news that there is options for all of you out there in the podcasts. You can hear to the amazing stories of various travelers roaming around different countries just by the click of a button. Also, you can hear about different scientists trying science experiments, various financial advisors giving you advice regarding the investing or money management. And there is also a podcast on cryptocurrency, which is the most hyped up right now. So if you think that you are lacking in knowledge or lacking in some kind of entertainment in this amount of time, this might be the perfect opportunity for you to grab something new out of this internet world. Another question that might arise into your mind is, why should I get this podcast, or what will I get in return after listening to the past podcast for so long? And my answer to this question is, you will gain the experience of the person who is telling you or guiding you from his long life into just a few hours or a few minutes. Most of the podcasts are now between 45 minutes to 1.5 hours, and in those time span, you get to hear and experience all the experiences of the person who has personally believed it, personally gone through them, and personally invested or educated or entertained in the same way. So not only you are earning a lot of knowledge in those times, you are also entertaining yourself into some different kinds of entertainment. And it will not be just scrolling of your pictures on your Instagram or all the time messaging and text messaging on your Facebook Messenger. Well, that is something new, and every time there is something new, our brain gets a different kind of dopamine hit and we get kind of happy after watching or experiences a new thing in our lives. So why not give it a try? Just to sum up and give you a personal example from my own life, yesterday I was listening to Captain Raghu Raman on one of the podcasts, and he was telling about his experiences in the Indian Army, how the Indian Army soldiers are facing the Siachen glaciers and all the places that they are posted, and it is completely mesmerizing moment for all of us. You literally get goosebumps after listening to that podcast. His experiences, the struggle that the army faces, the hardships that you have to go through to bear and give safety to all of us in India is just simply marvelous. You cannot imagine how much hardship is there in the life of a soldier and how many things that he tackles in his everyday life. Every day we might be wondering, oh, I didn't get this parking spot, I didn't get this, I didn't get that iPhone, I missed that deal on the Amazon or Flipkart. But have you ever experienced all these little things in life just take a moment of happiness from our lives? Well, I understood it from the podcast. If you haven't watched the podcast, please go ahead and watch it. You will gain some insights, and maybe, who knows, that you might be getting interested in hearing the most of his podcasts. Now let's talk about some health benefits of listening to the podcasts. According to a study in 2016, UC Berkeley found out that listening to visualizing stories similar to podcasts may have a very good effect on our brains. Different kinds of emotions arise while hearing to different voices in the podcasts. For example, if you are hearing about something entertaining, you might release some endorphins, and that is a feel-good, happy hormone in our body, and you might get an immediate sense of happiness that most of us need right now in this situation where everything around us is negative. The next you can get some positive effects on your mind by listening to various monks and educational and spiritual leaders in the field, and then you can relax your mind or learn techniques how to develop and how to calm your mind when you have a tense situation or you are in some situation in which you feel you are like trapped. These stories have also proved to increase your focus and productivity. So if you are working at home and you have a work from home regime from maybe 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening, try to squeeze around half an hour every day and listen to something new. Take off the time from your social media, from scrolling onto Instagram and Facebook, and try to listen to the story of one of the great leaders, how he got through those tough time periods where everything was not good, how the business leaders face their things where they go completely bankrupt, how an army officer or an army soldier fights through the different terrains and different weather conditions. Or if you are not interested into motivational or inspirational podcasts, you can also excite yourself by listening to some entertainment. And the best thing is that you are cutting your screen time for that. You are just plugging your earphones and you are diving into a whole new different world where you can educate or entertain yourself just by the click. Now coming on to my personal favorite podcast and my reasons for that. So I am gonna be brutally honest and I will be completely one-sided when I say my favorite podcast is The Ranveer Show, hosted by Ranveer Allahabadian. Also, he is popularly known as Beer Biceps on YouTube, and I don't think so there is a need for introducing him to all of you. He is the maker of the #1 podcast in India, and if you have not heard his podcast, I would say that you are missing on a lot of things. I heard the first podcast in around 2020, and since then I'm a huge fan. Every day I tune into the podcast just before going to bed or waking up early into the morning. You feel that rush of emotions and determination feel right through your brain when you hear such positive things in your life in this situation where the situations are not so good. You feel a rush or a wave of splashing positivity right onto your face by hearing different leaders of the world talking about positivity, spirituality, business, finance, and a lot more. For most of their lives, they do not had an idea about what to do with their lives. They were also lost in their way. Somewhere they were also lost, or they were also sad. They were also broken at some point of time. But the thing is that they came out strong. And I'm sure a lot of us are facing problems right now. They may be due to our education or maybe due to our employment. But we need to know how to tackle these. Most of us cannot directly go and talk to our family members or leaders in the industry to directly get their glimpse about what problem you are having. But listening to those people who went through the same thing that you are facing right now might help you in great extent in conquering those. So to conclude, I would like to tell you that this is a time where nothing new is going on in our lives. We are quarantined, repeating the same cycles. But if you want to do something new or at least try something new that might help you in boosting your mood or helping you in educating or other purposes of life, try to hear a podcast today. You can either entertain or educate your mind and get the best out of the quarantine times. And who knows, you might be getting into an idea that you were previously searching, or you might get a solution to get over all your problems that you might be facing right now. So to conclude, let's try to hear a podcast and comment down below. What do you feel after hearing your first podcast? If you want a recommendation from my side, try and delve into the Ranveer show. Pick up any episode that you want and try to hear it completely before getting onto any conclusion. But one very important announcement before you go. Before you get your headphones and dive straight into the world of podcasts, try to like and subscribe to this channel. It is absolutely free and you will never miss out any of the updates or upcoming video that I'll be sharing very soon. And the next topic is going to be very interesting. So hit that subscribe button and like this video if you found it useful. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.